We're trying to meet a demographic that doesn't necessarily get a lot of attention.
It is impossible to get any lower to the rail than we have you on this ride. More than anything, it really puts you in the ride. I don't think you can find a ride experience that feels quite like this anywhere else. My name is Joseph Pajunas, and I am the Creative Development Engineer here at S&S Worldwide.
My name is Chris Reynolds. I'm a mechanical engineer / project engineer at S&S. I do a lot of the dynamic side of the roller coaster and ride design. I've done all of our axis layouts that we're currently building, and I did the layout for RailRyder here.
RailRyder was the first project that I saw from 0 to 100 here at S&S. We didn't want to have a standard side-by-side ride experience because we know there's already other people out there who are doing that and doing it well. Arrow developed a concept called steeplechase. Now that debuted at Knott's Berry Farm with a ride called the Motorcycle Chase, which later evolved into the Wacky Soapbox Racers. Blackpool Pleasure Beach in England also got their own version of the steeplechase. And the premise of that ride was to have a carousel on rails. You know, what if you could have that same comfort of you're on a racehorse, but really give it that oomph that only a roller coaster can give you. We revisited that concept from Arrow a few years ago, kind of modernizing the whole system and bringing steeplechase into the modern era. Now, RailRyder is taking that steeplechase concept and bringing it to as broad of an audience as possible. So we looked at steeplechase and said, what do we like and what do we think could be improved?
This is a trained steeplechase that takes your center of mass of the rider and brings it just a few inches above the rail.
The road wheels are right between your legs. We thought very early on, who is this for? Typically, a lot of the rides that we're known for are very large scale, very intense thrill monsters. And we wanted to kind of come up with the antithesis to that and say, we want a ride that anyone can buy.
Other roller coasters, they cost millions and millions and millions of dollars. We wanted something that was affordable for even an FEC or just a small family-owned park, but also something that could be scaled up to something that a bigger park would want in their park as well.
One of the biggest challenges is the fact that our whole chassis straddles the rail, which means that things that you would ideally like to couple or link together, you may not be able to, or you might have to find an alternate solution for. Usually, brakes are placed either on top of or inside of the track in some way. But because of the configuration of RailRyder, there is nowhere for us to mount brakes on or in the track. So the only option is to put them off the track. The brakes are not connected to the track. They're part of the structure system. In order to interface with those brakes, we have the fin down nice and low and out of the way. But that is one of many things that allows us to get riders as close to the rail as humanly possible.
A lot of good creativity comes from constraints. Lift angle, max speeds, max accelerations. RailRyder doesn't exceed 3 Gs. It doesn't go below 0 Gs. And then from there, we can say, okay, now how can we push these limits and stay within the box? I definitely tried to keep this on a small footprint. A lot of these turns are the tightest we can go with the train design.
The main limitations we have are our bank angle and our G-forces. So you probably won't get a much stronger ride experience or any inversions, at least with the current state of the ride, but we can go a lot taller, a lot longer, and even a lot more dynamic. We've looked at options for doing like a terrain style coaster for this. You know, if you imagine you're very close to the ground going down a mountainside. We've looked at dueling versions of this where because of the openness of the seats, you might feel like, oh wow, I can almost reach out and touch the other train. We've looked at launched versions of this ride. We think there's a lot of versatility there, even while still keeping it in the family category.
This is our smallest layout that we've designed so far. We have a medium one already designed, a large one already designed, and then also happy to do something custom for parks. This is the RailRyder. You can see we definitely start in no limits. I even use some force vector design, making sure it looks good, watching some videos. From no limits though, we do have to verify in a more robust real program that it's doing what we want it to do. So we do throw it into a program called Atoms. This is a dynamics analysis software. And everything you've ever learned in physics, air resistance, friction, dynamics, we're able to analyze all of that in this program. And we're able to simulate what is actually going on. And what we have out here matches this like almost spot on. Then we can bring it into SolidWorks and start doing a lot of the detailing. I like to smooth my layouts in SolidWorks as well. We detail everything. What's this vehicle gonna look like? Where are the bolts? There's very minimal welding. We size the motors, size the chain. Once we have everything done and detailed, we go through a checking process to double check to make sure everything is looking good. And then that gets shipped on to the other end of the building where they start buying everything. And you start to go out in this shop and you're like, oh, there's the reach guard. There's that thing that I designed, or there's the seat. Oh, that seat. Oh, that actually is a little more comfortable than I thought it was gonna be, you know? And it's exciting to see it brought to life. Having this ride on site has provided us with a really cool opportunity where we get to not only ride it and experience, but we also get to tune it. We get to tweak it. We get to say, hey, what do we like about this ride? What don't we like about this ride? What's something that we could do as a simple fix? We've gone through a lot of tuning with the wheels. What kind of grease are we using? How tight are we clamping on the wheel bearings? And as we take these small steps, it's definitely improved the ride. In addition to being able to tweak it and play with it, we designed this in such a way that we can take it, pick it up, and drop it in any park. The structure is real. The track is real. This is final product worthy components. This is something that will last decades.
So we're up here on the RailRyder loading platform, up close and personal with what I think is the star of this ride system, the vehicle. We put a lot of time into figuring out exactly how we wanted this to work, from the loading process to how guests are going to fit into it to how it's going to feel once you're actually on the ride. For loading, something we definitely wanted to think about is, what is that first step onto the vehicle going to look like and feel like? I can fit my entire foot on the platform beneath me, the grab handle's at a very nice height, I vault myself over, and I'm ready to sit down. One of my favorite features is our restraint system. At first glance, it might look similar to the seatbelt that's in your car, but we have a handy little tab right on the end here that allows us to interface with the tooth locking system. So the first thing that anyone's gonna notice when they look at this ride is the track. I can guarantee you, you've never seen anything like it before. We have a lot of unique features about it. Most notably, every so often we have these two holes and this plate of bolts. The two holes help us with our installation to pull on either end to make sure that both rails are nice and snug. Once we know that they're snug, we can sandwich these plates on either side, allowing us to make sure that once it's together, it's not coming back apart. So on our steeplechase coaster, we had one pipe on the top, one pipe on the bottom, and then a series of ties connecting one pipe to another. We thought we could do a little bit better than that and come up with something a little more aesthetically pleasing. So we tried putting these two plates in between each rail, and we found immediately that's the way we need to go. It immediately tells people this is a single rail coaster. When you see the ties in between, I think that kind of dissipates that. Another interesting thing due to the unique seating configuration on RailRyder is our anti-rollback flight. For those of you who may not know, an anti-rollback is the clickety-clack that you hear when a ride goes up a chain lift hill. Normally, that's right next to the chain off to the side of the train. Because we are so close to the rail on this ride, we had to tuck it in off to the side of the rail. So instead of clacking down like a typical one, we have a spring-loaded ARB constantly coming into the side. With our anti-rollback flight off to the side, that gives us room to have our chain off to the bottom. When a train comes into the lift, it has a little arm on the bottom of it that allows it to grab onto the chain and pull it all the way up to the top.
This is a representation of what's needed for our electrical room, that's nothing compared to a big roller coaster. That fits, we have like a little 10 by 10 shed outside that this sits in, and that's it. My lift is very basic, my boosters are very basic, my braking system. This prototype we have out here has only 3 mag brakes, and even that feels almost excessive. Someone who's done this for years, they're gonna look at this and say, that's easy, that's the easiest ride we have in the park. We had an event where we had our families come for the employees. It was an awesome event. Some of these kids rode this ride 15 to 20 times, and they just loved it. The other cool thing though was watching the parents. My mom is not a roller coaster person, but she rode it several times. And these people get off and they say, that is the right thrill level for me, and I can ride it with my kids. It's not a kiddie coaster. It meets that middle ground of where do you go from a kiddie coaster before you ride a full crazy high thrill coaster. For me, more than being able to ride myself, watching my kids and watching other people's kids, that's where the biggest reward comes from.